Hi, this is Lada from astrolada.com with your November 2018 horoscopes. And this month is something else. I mean, there's so many amazing shifts that are starting to happen from November. The energy is changing and we're all going to feel it collectively. Jupiter is moving from Scorpio into Sagittarius, and usually the influence of a planet moving from one sign into another is most powerful at the beginning and also at the end when it's leaving. So Jupiter will make some gift to all of us in regards to Scorpio, where we've worked hard over the last 1 year. But this time, when Jupiter enters into Sagittarius, things will start happening much easier because Sagittarius is the sign of Jupiter. Things will start flowing naturally, more positively. While Jupiter was in Scorpio, it still gave us, but through some crisis first, through some, because it's the nature of Scorpio, some crisis, or first the death of something old, so Jupiter can give birth to something new, because Scorpio is this sign about death and rebirth. So it was, yes, it gave us some expansion as well and some growth, but through more extreme ways, circumstances, through crisis of some sort. While Jupiter going to Sagittarius, wow, I mean, it's in its own sign, expansion threefold. And you're going to start feeling it from November, all of us. So we're going to speak about Jupiter, how it's going to affect you for the next 1 year in different, according to your sign. We're going to speak about the nodes, the karmic nodes where fate is changing. They're changing signs as well. I'm going to say a few quick words about what it means for you for the next year and a half, what fated events are going to be happening in your life. There is also triple manifestation this month, and I'm going to speak about it. This is according to ancient Gemini astrology. There will be a trigger of 4 houses for every person that can manifest very powerfully. So this month is really happening. It can be extremely positive. There's some difficult influences as well we'll talk about. But just to let you know that I'm doing a webinar with April on Jupiter in Sagittarius on the 9th of November. It's only $29 if you come early. And if you sign it now, or $39 if you want us to look at your chart and send you an email with what Jupiter will specifically affect you, so you know which part of the webinar is most relevant for you. And also, it's going to be very in-depth, we're going to follow everything. And also, early bird announcement for the 2019 horoscopes. Each one will be about an hour and a half long, in-depth, with days of birth, with month-by-month prediction, with everything will be I've been working on those, and I'll be working for a couple of months. And they're coming out in the middle of November. And if you order from now till the middle of November, one sign is $3.99, or all 12 signs for about $15.99. So amazing things, exciting things ahead. And let's start with the predictions. Cancer. Well, let's start with the huge event for Cancer this month, that the nodes, the karmic nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, that are making the big changes. Usually they create one of the biggest fated life events. They're moving into your sign, Cancer. Sorry, just the north node, Rahu. And they both have a very dark side and also a very positive side. Well, Rahu on the material level can help Cancer so much for the next year and a half. Will make you much more ambitious, much more driven for the spotlight, to be center of attention, to achieve. Even though Cancer might be a bit of a retreating sign, you're going to start feeling yourself gradually from November, little by little, depending whether you're early born Cancers or later. Usually the later born Cancers will feel it first. Or later born Cancer rising or moon rising. But there is some kind of Rahu can inflame the ego and the ambitious, the personal ambitious. On one side, this is great. You can become so hungry for success, because Rahu is this insatiable dragon's head that wants to eat and take more and more and more, but it always feels hungry inside. But that's sometimes what we need in order to progress, in order to move our asses, this unquenchable thirst that you're going to start feeling, to take over the world, to become more visible, to be center stage, to empower yourself. And if you are already inclined, or if you know someone with strong Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, who is inclined to egomaniac, this can inflame that side, But we're going to talk more about that in the 2019 videos. I don't want to speak so much about the dark side of Rahu, even though there is always danger. that one can get into things way over their head with Rahu transiting their sign, or in some illicit and dangerous stuff. We're going to speak about that in the yearly horoscopes, and if you want to watch them, find them, with the link below. It's just $3.99 per sign. But on the positive side, Rahu over the next year and a half can increase your self-belief, can increase your impact as a person on others, and it's going to be a lot about you. But you have to, because Ketu goes into your 7th house. Rahu will teach you to be independent, but Ketu will make you over the next year and a half learn not to rely on others, but learn to rely on yourself, because Ketu will dissolve certain important relationships in your life that have outplayed their role. And it might do it in a bit of cruel way, because 2019 Ketu is with Saturn and Pluto in the 7th house, like a total alienation, distraction, and a certain aspect of a relationship in your life, or of a whole relationship, or a group of people that you've been close to, that you will no longer, that they'll be no longer in your life. You will disentouch from them, and you'll start putting a lot more faith and a lot more focus on yourself, your own goals. If till now you're always subservient to someone and have to take into consideration their need and whatever, something will be happening from November on already, gradually, in the whole 2019, that all of a sudden you're like, now I'm taking my power back, I'm focusing on myself. I no longer will be, you won't be anymore my priority. It might be a business partner, it might be a client that you've been giving your attention too much to, someone that you've been giving the front line light, the front light to someone else. Now you're taking the power away from those people and bringing it back onto you. And starting something. Rahu in the 1st house will give you the courage to start new things, because Rahu gives us is risk-taking and makes us a little bit crazy. And that's the dark side of it. We might go a bit too crazy sometimes, but especially Cancer, I think they need this bit of a kick, this spice from Rahu. And of course, Rahu, the ancient cultures don't like Rahu because it wants new things and it destroys the old order to bring new things. Well, Cancer is also attached to the old, but now somehow things cannot do that. And also a lot of Cancer might even change their appearance, because Rahu can make them start to appropriate some foreign appearances, some very exotic looks, some very exotic behaviors. And if it's your Sun in Cancer, some very new directions in your career, new directions in your goals in life. If it's your Moon, new direction, like an empowerment through family or place of living of some sort. But of course, there is a darker side. Again, we'll speak about that. But generally, you can, increase your influence, and as personally, in regards to, whatever, if it's your Sun in Cancer, in your career, you can take up on your career, expand, become a boss or a bigger figure. But relationships with others can be the one that suffer, or maybe a partner. Another way that can happen is that partner, they can leave, or they can, for example, be still there, but they cannot be present. They cannot be of much help around that time. It's like the universe is trying to teach you to rely more on yourself. It doesn't mean you're not going to have any relationship if you're a Cancer. This is not true, because your ascendant might be, for example, Sagittarius or Gemini, and you can manifest powerfully relationships of sort. But there is still something that you have to let go. Some dependence on another that you have. Something you've been fearful to leave, someone or relationship. Ketu will dissolve it. And actually, Ketu can even dissolve the fear about leaving certain relationship and certain business partnership of some sort, or certain contract that has outplayed its influence. But that will have an empowering effect on you. So that's the big event for you, Cancers. But there is also another very important thing. Jupiter is leaving your 5th house, and it can, when it leaves, when a planet leaves a sign, can make a gift. And the 5th house is children, pregnancy, so watch out if you don't want to, or falling in love, something important in a positive way before the 9th of November, around, from now till the middle of November, something positive in regards to your love life, in regards to being in love in regards to some creative project, seeing the results of some creative project, for example. And it's entering your sixth house, where it's going to be very powerful in its own sign. And the sixth house is your health. So for the next 12 months, starting from the 9th of November very strongly, Cancers can manifest much more improved health. Some information will come to them, something that will solve them a problem that they were stuck with in regards to health or in regards to better routine. Or it can just be like a gift from God, because Jupiter is blessings from above, that some health problem gets resolved, or that you find the right diet, or you find the right doctor, or something changes in your circumstances that releases you from some karmic chronic condition of some sort. On another level, the sixth house is your work situation. Some opportunities of a big sort and expansion and growth can come to you through new job responsibilities, and it's a kind of almost like new knowledge, because Jupiter brings knowledge, new knowledge which expands your professional and employment opportunities for you. And it can bring, for example, a new career or a new job. It can bring a new project or increase workload, or you can grow in your work or grow in your business of some sort as well, because Jupiter from days making good sign to the 10th house as well. And sixth house is also enemies. Well, Jupiter is in the house of enemies and any kind of competitions and a court. Also, if there is some kind of a court case, but where you're being accused of something, accusations or something like that, Jupiter can protect you from such things, basically. From accusations, can in some way make you almost like you are stop caring about such, because Jupiter makes us much more optimistic and positive in regards to those things, and we can receive some support from the universe. So such kind of accusatory situations or toxic situations can in some way they'll be present, because Jupiter can expand whatever it touches, but you look at them from a much more philosophical point of view, and it's not going to feel like a problem anymore for you. You'll notice the higher purpose of those little bickering and enmities, or this debt, that if there is a debt, because sixth house rules debt, or if there is some situation of inequality and accusations of some sort, you're going to see it from a very higher perspective, more philosophical, and accept it, and don't feel angry about it in any sort. And it's kind of, this is what's going to weaken it. Let's explain it this way. And there is also triple activation from the 9th of November, when Jupiter enters Sagittarius, till the end of November, because both Mercury and Jupiter, which according to ancient astrology, when both activate a sign together, and the rule of that sign is there too, this sign manifests triple very positive way, in a very positive way. So this is happening, as I said, in your already in your sixth house, or something good in regards to your as we said, your work life, employment, in regards to health of some sort, in regards to some enmity or some accusations, or even some court case and litigation that can happen, or solving some debt of some sort. But at the same time, Jupiter and Mercury are triple activating also your 9th house, your 12th house, and your 3rd house. So you can have some very positive triple manifestation in regards to collaborating with small groups of people, doing some business projects, some commercial projects, marketing, advertising project, making contacts, reaching and connecting to for business relationships, or hearing from people. A lot of travels can happen. The 9th house activated, short travels, or long-term overseas travels that can happen as well. It can activate it. Possibility to learn something as well. Practical skills, or even higher knowledge of some sort, to get accepted to universities as well. And 12th house is possibility to go on a break, to do something private that is secretive, that others don't know about, but it's in a positive way that makes you happy in some way, or to run away from something. 12 houses, to go on a holiday, retreat, hotels, faraway places as well. All those are getting activated, so you can benefit through those. Something good can happen if you are in teaching or lecturing, traveling the world, benefiting through foreigners or people of higher social standing. This is the ninth house again. You can, if you're in university, something positive happening in the last 20 days of November through those environments. And yes, Mercury is going retrograde, but it's part of this positive double manifesting influence. Going retrograde means that you have to work hard on something, that you have to solve certain problems, especially communications, because Neptune is squaring your Mercury from the third house. So if there was some miscommunication, something that was said was not understood properly or misunderstood, or omission of some documents or emails or papers, this will need to be corrected, especially in the second part of sometime around November. This can create certain frustrations, but maybe some, but it's necessary to be addressed anyway and to fix the problem. And yeah, so, and also be careful with any devices, phones, and so they don't get lost or stolen, or some kind of internet scams, because third house, sixth house involvement, Mercury, Neptune, sometimes this can manifest this way. Or to break them, to, water damage. Neptune is water as well, to such devices. And again, omissions in regards to your work, not to miss certain things, but fixing those things, even if they're frustrating, because there's positive activation of both, triple positive activation of the third, of the sixth, of the ninth, of the 12th, work and matters connected to writing, to speaking, to communication, all those other houses that I was talking about will be smoothed out and they'll give good results overall. So thank you so much, Cancers. Yes, don't forget, if you want to watch my yearly, they're just $3.99 per sign, or $15.99 for all the 12 signs, and they'll be much more in depth with dates, and it will be like a proper breakdown of the year. I've been working for a month or two. I have 2 months of work on those. I'm charging the least minimal amount so I can just cover the work for those 2 months, because I wanted to reach to as many people as possible. And after the middle of November, it will become double price. But jump on now if you want to, to save your seat or to get the cheaper option. And of course, don't forget, on the 9th of November, me and April are doing a webinar on Jupiter in Sagittarius. Thank you.